What's up? What's up? What's up? When we start talking about the dynamics of power, we're talking about something that's bigger than the scale that you're used to seeing. 50 Cent was exposing what was going on behind the scenes that people never knew about with the show creator Courtney Kemp and how she eventually turned on him as well as turning on Amari Hardwick. But their fallout happened much later. She wanted a lot of the attention and the credit for creating the show and say, hey, I created this show, but you're getting all the attention and credit for it. And they're just looking at me as an afterthought. So, of course, this is her first baby. She wanted it to work and wanted the majority of the credit for it, as well deserved. But she started to take it out on those who were helping making the project go. And they kept a lid on some of the things that was going on with Courtney herself, as they all was in together, linked in with a whole studio fight as far as them getting more episodes, more equal pay, things that every company seemed to go through when it's a more, predominantly Black cast. Now, the way all of this comes to be and the way it all works, if you put it all together collectively, there's more things going on than what the average person can understand. So we'll go into some of these details, and the rest of it we'll do a Patreon version that fills in all the blanks on the Carcino for Life Patreon. I'm quite sure you'll love that. Now, let's touch some of the common tropes that happens when he was talking about the dynamics. 50 started to allude to other things going on about how there was, illegal touching and, like illegal, like not illegal, but maybe sexually harassing people on the set, and alluded to a showrunner actually doing this. When you have a female showrunner that's, sexually harassing or, actually touching, the cast or the talent, you put a lot of things at risk and at jeopardy when doing so. So looking at how this is all breaking down is taking a whole nother development in play. Now, they both started off with promoting the series as if it's a proxy fight for who's the creator of the show. That was 50 Cent's actual push for the show. Like, who's the real showrunner? Is it her? Is it 50? And they had a fake beef going on, and she was playing into it, keeping her arms crossed, like she don't want 50 around and she wants to take the show so they can create a social media buzz, which was working. It was working so well that ended up becoming the actual beef later on, which is crazy that someone with that kind of, like, this is fake, but it's really starting to bother you. Now that's what's the crazy part. How you letting this thing mess with you? That's the crazy part. This is not real. So then it switches to Empire. So it's like, okay, Empire's coming out. We could start a beef with Empire. Now we're getting promoted on Fox. But Fox started it first. After Power, then there's an Empire. They were using the Power because Power came out first, the whole first season. Then they used that as the push for Empire. So Fifth said, oh, okay, so that they gonna do it. All right, I'm gonna do it my way. And then they want a beef after Power. Then there's Empire. It's like, oh, okay, y'all want to play the game. All right. So Fifth went and played with him. Then Taraji got all mad, and this is when they had the buzz. Now people that's watching Empire is wondering, what is Power? What is that? That another Empire? So they were curious. They wanted to see it. So the marketing was working. But the things that Fifth was alluding to now was things that we saw, but kind of didn't, we heard about it, but we didn't really know what was going on. So get ready to know what's going on. Meet Courtney Kemp's husband. Well, ex-husband. He was very influential in her life. Like, he worked at Universal Pictures. He was like an executive. He used to call himself the Black Martin Scorsese, and this is what his whole stick was, He wanted to make things work. He wanted to make things operate at a level that other people couldn't do or understand how to do. So for him, it made a lot of sense to do things a certain way than to let others dictate how it should be done. Now, when you start taking a look at how other people are treating something and how you treat it, it's entirely different. So when Power was first getting developed, she was in the midst of a legal matters and all this crap going on where they weren't vibing anymore. The vibe was off and they were headed for a divorce. Now, out of the majority of the people who are around, that is considered the talent, there were a lot of things taking place that other people wouldn't usually understand. But it was happening, and it was happening pretty fast. And people was noticing her connection with Michael Ferguson, who plays 2-Bit on the show, and how she would just light up when she see Michael Ferguson. So the character of 2-Bit stuck around way longer than he was supposed to stick around. And the script and everything was redone so that 2-Bit would stay on the show. Now, people love 2-Bit. So Courtney made it look as if, it wasn't because of, 2-Bit. Like, it wasn't because of, nothing they had going on. 2-Bit was just, everybody loved him and they didn't want to take him out. But it was written in the script, in the original, that 2-Bit was supposed to go early on, and she changed it to keep 2-Bit around. So you can go figure that out. Now, with all that being said, we arrive at another precipice point, because while this process was happening and everybody was trying to put their finger on it, figure it out, this happening, is it not happening? We don't know. The main scenario was this. The show was starting to be affected by all of these dealings, whether it was how we're going to run the show. It started to change as the years went on, as they wanted to try to remove Courtney from the situation altogether. So from event to event, all the stuff they kept saying about the showrunner this and the showrunner that, all of these dynamics came and played and cut into the quality of the work. instead of things running on automatic pilot, they was trying to circumvent where the show was going to go. And since this person wasn't a central part of the plot, it created a lot of problems and question marks when you insert them into a program that did not make sense. And it was like, why would this person be vested into this? Then they just disappear. Something's going on here. Something ain't right. And you knew it wasn't right. If you saw Power Book 2 and you saw they used 2-bit, and it was like a wasted performance, and it was like, well, what was his real purpose of being there? You know, once you got to that, then you knew something was real, like weird with the situation. Yeah, it was kind of explaining itself, but other people could read between the lines and make it out. You know what I mean? Now the rest will be shared on the Patreon. We will be doing a Patreon only to finish this video here, and we will go into more details. So now that y'all got, you know, the appetizers and some meat and potatoes, you know, the real 4-course meal is getting ready to come on the Patreon. So thanks for everybody here. Don't forget to be a member, join everything. It's going to be wonderful. And you know, who knows? It might be on YouTube one day, you know, for the membership. So join my Patreon, and thank you guys for watching. We out.